will be.
Welcome inside the locker room.
And we're inside the locker room for another edition of, sporting stories for today, the 11th of July, 2022. It's a Monday morning. So rainy for a Monday morning. It's a public holiday as well. So it seems like a perfect one. If you're not stepping out today, just stay in bed, covered up, radio volume low a bit while you enjoy the rest of the day. Well, it's time to discuss some of the biggest stories from the weekend. My name is Victor Peppo. We have Ini in the studio. Good morning.
Good morning, Victor. Good morning, Lagos. Absolute pleasure to be here as well. And I was asking the other day, why don't people, why don't radio people, TV people have a holiday? It's quite, it's a bit of unfair, when you think about it. Everyone is at home, but you have to be here.
I get it. I always feel that way. I mean, almost all the time. Driving to work this morning, I'm like, should you see normal people in their houses sleeping and enjoying themselves on a rainy Monday morning? But
Normal people.
Exactly. But we have to be here doing the Lord's work. It's also good. I like your energy. It looks like you had a lot of ram to eat over the weekend.
For where?
Confess in me. Confess.
My brother, I'm going to have issues with a few people, I have a colleague, Olakunle on Total Football. I hope he comes through because we know that they have this thing served up somewhere, so bring it out. We need to eat around. But the rains on Saturday, I don't know. It's become a bit of a tradition. Someone mentioned it a couple of years that every Saturday it rains.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe in Lagos, but I've lived in Abuja for about 7 years. It doesn't rain. It doesn't rain there. Everything's
doesn't rain in
down.
Abuja
It doesn't
at all.
rain.
It doesn't rain in Abuja
Exactly.
at all.
The rains in Abuja start in August and end in September, and Viola were done for the year. But in Lagos, it's been raining 1 week. In the past 1 week, every day in the past 1 week. What is going on?
Starting again this week.
All right, here's some of the stories for you today on the show. Super Falcons beat Burundi. Ons Jabwa falters at the final hurdle at Wimbledon. Oh, Novak Djokovic claims 7th Wimbledon title. Kenyan tennis star Okutoi wins girls doubles crown at Wimbledon and taking it over to Southampton, where they've signed Nigeria's Joe Aribo. Tyson Fury hints at retirement U-turn to fight Anthony Joshua. Also, Chelsea agree on signing Raheem Sterling. There's a new fee with Manchester City. We'll talk about it ahead on the show. Finally, France trash Italy in Women Euros. Let's get the show started. But remember, you can be part of the show. Reacting to any of the stories, send your comments to us on WhatsApp 0809 4440981. We're streaming live on YouTube, Smooth 981 FM Lagos. Tweet us at Smooth981FM. Super Falcons of Nigeria comfortably qualified for the quarterfinals of the Women's Africa Cup of Nations on Sunday, beating Burundi 4-0. 4-0 on Sunday. So exciting, really. And a victory was not in doubt, as it was only a matter of how many goals they were going to score, and it didn't take long before they opened their account on the night.
Yeah, fantastic result for the Super Falcons, and it was very good. The performance was great. The intensity was good. The manager made a few changes, bringing in some players who haven't quite had a start in the tournament, and it was great to see Chen Nakano get a couple of goals. Should have easily had a hat trick on match day. I thought she played really well. Her energy, her pace was a real threat for the Burundians, and you've got to say the quality of the opposition wasn't anything to write home about, but again, you still have to keep the concentration levels and win a football match, and that's what the Super Falcons did. And after losing against South Africa, recovering against Botswana, and now beating Burundi, you think that now it's time for the real deal. Now it's time for real serious business, because it's the quarterfinal. The next game is against Cameroon, the Indomitable Lionesses of Cameroon, and that is going to be a tougher fixture than what the Super Falcons have faced in their last two games. And Cameroon is a different level to Botswana and Burundi, and that is the tough fixture, and it's a winner takes all. The winner of that game will be at the World Cup in New Zealand next year, and that is a huge incentive for either Cameroon or Nigeria. So we're looking forward to that one.
And we know that the Nigerian ladies, Super Falcons, are always, keen when it comes to World Cup
Yeah,
players,
of course.
and Cameroon too. They want to be there, so they're
Exactly.
going to fight to the finish. Now, I hope that the ladies remember what happened at their first game, and then bring that same energy when they play on Thursday
Yeah.
against Cameroon, so they can get qualified to play at the World Cup sometime next year in New Zealand.
Yeah, of course. I totally agree, because you've got to take into cognizance how you started the tournament and the quality of opposition that is in front of you. And when you play against Cameroon, you know that there's no margin for error. You cannot make silly mistakes. You've got to be switched on every minute, and the level of intensity has got to be bang, bang, bang from the beginning of the game, because Cameroon are a very difficult opposition, and in Ambudi, Ongene, and Ajara and Jude, they've got two people who can really hurt our aging backline. I've got to say, Sinachi Ohale and Onome B. These are two players who have given a lot for the country, but at the moment looks like they are a bit tired, or maybe the legs aren't quite as fast as they used to be. So it's going to be a tough fixture, and I'm certainly looking forward to that one.
All right, from women's football, let's talk tennis now, where Elena Rybakina became the first player from Kazakhstan to win a Grand Slam title after beating Tunisian third seed Ons Jabeur in a gripping Wimbledon final. Rybakina, 23, fought back to win 3-6, 6-2, 6-2, and became the youngest Wimbledon singles champion since 2011. I must add that, after a very shaky first set, she improved and pressured Jabeur into errors.
Yeah, fantastic one for Elena Rybakina. Disappointing for Ons Jabeur. From an African perspective, you feel a sense of disappointment, that sense of what could have been, what should have been, and for the kind of tournament Ons Jabeur has had, you would have wanted it to be crowned, with that Grand Slam title. Getting into the final for the first time is a huge one for her career. Obviously, she is going to be another one to look out for in next Grand Slam titles in the future. But this one was not to be, because Elena Rybakina was absolutely brilliant, and she didn't quite start so well, but she pressured Jabeur into making a lot of errors. And you always worry for a player when they get to a final, because you're always thinking who's going to keep the nerves. And it was quite interesting, because these are two people who haven't been in a final before,
right?
And you needed to see who would keep the nerves more, and ended up being Elena. And it's quite fantastic, because she didn't have the emotions. She didn't quite express the emotions. And usually you see people collapse to the floor, show a bit of excitement. She didn't quite do that. She raised the right hand. And speaking after the game, Ons Jabeur said maybe she's shy, or I probably need to teach her how to celebrate. But it will sink in, and once it sinks in, you know that you've done something quite incredible. I was here on Friday, and we're talking about the fact that Elena Rybakina 4 years ago was representing Russia, and then she wasn't getting a lot of financial support from the Russian Federation. She moved over to Kazakhstan. She's become the first Kazakhstan player to win the Grand Slam. And that is incredible. It's just incredible. And she's just 23. And when you see things like that, you only say she can only get better.
Now, when things like this happen, you can only say, oh, it's for Christian's sake, can only be God. Imagine she was still playing for Russia.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not sure she would.
Exactly. She would, of course. She won't be here. 100%. She won't be here. So sometimes you make decisions, and then you're like, why would you leave a big nation like Russia and represent a smaller nation with due respect to Kazakhstan? And then he pays off like this, and you're like, wow.
We mentioned two things on Friday as well, looking at age difference between both of them. Jabeur is 27, Rybakina is 23. It looks like the younger ones, more energy, more stamina, and yes, they want to get it until they fight to finish.
Yeah, of course. I wouldn't question the energy and the athleticism of Ons Jabeur, but on the day, it's always about composure. It's all about who keeps their nerves, who can go into that one with nerves or steel, like we say. But it is quite incredible, because you talk about age. Age is a big factor in tennis, and I mean, say that to Roger Federer. It's a big factor in tennis, but in the end, it's about the quality you produce on the day.
I'm happy Tunisia still holds in high esteem,
Yeah, of
saying
course.
yes, our
Of
lady
course.
should go to
Africa
the
is really proud of us,
really
but
proud. But let's keep it going. Novak Djokovic underlined his recent dominance at Wimbledon with a composed and controlled fight back against Australia's Nick Kyrgios to win a fourth consecutive men's single title. Now, Djokovic, 35, lost the first set after some superb serving from Kyrgios, but ended up winning 4-6, 6-3, 6-4, 7-6 on centre court.
brilliant. Novak Djokovic has 7 Wimbledon titles. Only Roger Federer has won more Wimbledon titles than him, 8. And you cannot put your money against him, even though you think about Djokovic at 35, you think maybe gradually he will be winding down. But that man doesn't look like he wants to wind down because he showed real class yesterday. Lost the first set, but did bother him. He came back and strode him in stupendous fashion. And he's just an absolutely terrific player. And like Nick Kyrgios said, he's a bit of a god in this business. And he's done it. He's been there. He's been absolutely incredible. He wasn't allowed to play at the Australian Open because of his COVID vaccine status. He lost in the French Open to Rafael Nadal in the quarterfinals. He wasn't about to let this one go, and he took it, in really stylish fashion.
Okay, let's also talk about Angela Courtis, who became the first Kenyan to win a Wimbledon title as she and the Dutch partner Rosemary won the girls' doubles crown. The unseeded pair beat Canadians Kayla Cross and Victoria Mboko 3-6, 6-4, 11-9.
Yeah, great for Africa again. It's great because Africans are doing absolutely incredible things, and she's just 18, and she's got a bit of a background story where her mother died from childbirth. She grew up with a sister, being raised by her grandmother, who she says is a role model for her. To be 18 and do something like this. Kenyans are famed for athletics. They do a lot of long distance running, and they've been great. To have a Kenyan do something in tennis is brilliant.
But you also know that you have to run from side to side. And I mean, you need that energy, you need that stamina. She also proved it. Congratulations to her. Well, let's take a break. When we do come back, we'll take some of your messages on our WhatsApp portal 0809-444-0981. Oluwakemi, I see you. Ronson, I see you as well. I'm waiting for Chimaobi Victor. I want to read from you today. Let's take a break.
To all Premier League lovers, did you know that you can watch your favorite EPL team live in the UK? BetKing is currently running an EPL promo that will see 8 lucky winners
like you
win an
always put up the
all-expense
live
paid.
chats. I don't know. Yeah, but normally they always comment on YouTube, but they've not been sending messages on YouTube. Let's see.
BetKing Virtual Football League with a minimum of 5 selections and minimum total odds of 3.75 per coupon. And that's not all. There are other fantastic prizes to be won. Smart TVs, smartphones, and free
Chat is disabled for
winners
live
are already
stream.
emerging, and more winners will be selected weekly. Promo runs from now till 31st of July 2022. Visit betking.com to start playing. That winning feeling, that's BetKing. Remember to play responsibly. Not for persons under the age of 18.
Moving, grooving with music on Smooth 98.1.1.
Yeah, we go win the next Premier League and I go watch them live.
Watching it live, I beg you, that's expensive.
Not when you win an all-expense paid trip in the BetKing pre-season offer. TVs, phones, and betting credits are also up for grabs. Bet at least 500 naira on any sports or BetKing Virtual Football League with a minimum of 5 selections and 3.75 odds per coupon to win from the weekly draw starting on the 16th of June to 31st July 2022. T&Cs apply. Visit betking.com to start winning.
That feeling, that's BetKing. This is Swiss breakfast on your dial. It's the winning you.
We're back. All right, and we're back inside the locker room for a Monday morning. My name is Victor Pepple. Ini is in the studio as well. Ini on Monday, if I should put it, that way.
It is fine.
All right, great. Ronson has a message in for us. Says, it's all good. At least Ange Jabois made history by making the final and couldn't take it further. Oluwakemi says, congratulations to the Super Falcons. Why is Chelsea buying Sterling? There are players out there far better than Sterling. Raheem Sterling. Please, what is the latest on Rafinha? That's Oluwakemi asking.
Yeah, but Rafinha looks like he's angling up for a move to Barcelona. Chelsea have had a deal agreed with Leeds United, but the lad doesn't want to go to Chelsea. He wants to go to Barcelona. I do not know why he wants to do that, but looks like that Barcelona move might be on the cards for him.
All right, you listening can send messages across to us. Be sure that we'll take it if you send so before 8:45. 0809 444 0981 is the WhatsApp number to send a message to us. Southampton have completed the signing of Rangers midfielder Joe Aribo on a 4-year contract. Now, the 25-year-old Nigerian international joins for a fee reported to be about £6 million, rising to 10 million pounds with add-ons.
Yeah, brilliant move for Joe Aribo. I think he's come on in leaps and bounds in the past few years. I remember when he left Charlton in League One to Rangers in Scotland, it felt like a step down in his career, because when you move from English football to Scottish football, I mean, it doesn't look like it's a fantastic move, but it's turned out to be a brilliant move, because I remember what his then manager at Charlton, Lee Bowyer, said. He talked about the fact that this was a really bad move for a very promising player just to go over to Scotland. That Scotland is a place where players go to retire. They don't go there to build their careers. But obviously, Lee Boy has been proven really, really wrong, because in the past few years he's done really well. He's won the league title with Scotland, with Rangers in Scotland. He's gotten to the Europa League final, scored a goal. Wasn't quite enough for them to win. But he's gained valuable experience. He's got into the national team. He's a mainstay with the Super Eagles now. And this is a crack at the big time. And when you get to the level of playing in the Premier League, it is the highest level. It is the biggest level you can ever play your club football, and it's just fantastic for him.
Now, the young Nigerian has been described by international press as one of the finest Africa's talent, one of Africa's finest talents, and he said he's always hoped to play in the Premier League, and that's why he's excited about this particular signing.
When you grow up in London, when you grow up in the streets of London, you see the amount of African imports who come into the UK to play in the Premier League. You've got to find that belief that one day you want to play at that level, and he's gotten his dreams now, and I'm really pleased for him.
The next 4 years, where you see him with all of this happening so quickly for him.
Yeah, you would think that if he can keep the level of momentum he's kept in the past few years and even do better, add a lot more goals to his game, probably think a bigger club will come in for him.
Chelsea, maybe. Well, Tyson Fury has made another retirement U-turn after saying he will fight Anthony Joshua for free. He is the current holder of the WBC heavyweight title. He announced he was hanging up his gloves, following his successful title defense from Dylan White at Wimbledon Stadium in April.
Tyson Fury, it's becoming it feels like a broken record. He said this many times. He wants to fight Joshua. Joshua wants to fight Tyson Fury. I'm sure the boxing world, fans around the world want to see this particular fight, because it would be really, really great to have the Gypsy King and Anthony Joshua in the same ring. But Joshua still has some business to do in Saudi Arabia with Alexander Usyk in August. Let's get that out of the way first and foremost, because once we do that, all of a sudden, looks like the coast will be clear for Tyson Fury to make that very famous retirement U-turn and come out of retirement. And let's see if we can get a fight, because I certainly want to see Joshua and Tyson Fury go head to head, go fist to fist in a boxing ring. It would be very interesting, but for free, I'm not quite sure about that. Tyson Fury is a man who loves his money, and I know he'll want to make a lot of it from this one.
Well, Ranson comes in again saying, perhaps to the previous story, Ini, I honestly think Rangers is a step up for him, for crying out loud. Charlton Athletic is in the 3rd division in the Premier League.
I totally agree with you. I do agree with you.
Moving things over to Chelsea now, where they've agreed for a £47.5 million fee with Manchester City to sign forward Raheem Sterling. And the 27-year-old started his medical in London on Sunday, and it will continue to Monday, with Chelsea hopeful. Chelsea a deal will be completed in time to allow the England forward join the club's preseason tour in the United States.
Chelsea fans aren't really pleased about this move. I'm not quite sure why, because Raheem Sterling gives you an assurance of goals. He gives you an assurance of assist. He is a real live wire in the final third, and that's what Chelsea don't have at the moment. I look at that Chelsea attacking quartet or quintet. You have to look at it and say, which player in that Chelsea attacking forward is better than Raheem Sterling? Ziyech, blows hot and cold. Christian Pulisic, I'm not quite sure what's happened to him, because I think he's a real cracker of a footballer. Hasn't quite been up to scratch in the past few years. And you've got a Raheem Sterling who's steady every time he plays, has shown consistency, scoring goals after goals for City, creating assist after assist. The numbers are quite incredible. And I think this would be a really good signing for Chelsea. I genuinely feel that he can come into that Chelsea and galvanize that squad with his pace, with his movement, with his finishing. It looks like a good signing, a really good signing for Chelsea, in my opinion.
Now, someone's saying for Chelsea to be able to compete favorably with Liverpool and Man City, they need to sign proper players before they get into the season.
Yeah, but Raheem Sterling is a proper player. He's been with City for the past 4 or 5 years. He's won trophies. He's got experience at this point. He's a very key member of the national team. And I don't know what fans expect, but I think Raheem Sterling, if he hits the ground running, all will be forgotten.
And I'm particularly excited for Sterling because with this new signing, he's been rated amongst the top 20 highest paid, English footballers in the world.
And he's deserved in my opinion, because when you do what he's done, the amount of goals he scored for City, the numbers. A few years ago, we're talking about Raheem Sterling in a Ballon d'Or conversation. I still can remember that. He hasn't quite hit the height of that season in the following season, but he's an absolutely terrific player, and I think he would really stretch defenses in playing for Chelsea.
Okay, let's talk about Grace Guerrero, who scored a hat-trick as France underlines their credentials as one of the favourites to win Euro 2022 by thrashing Italy 5-1 in their Group D opener at Rotterdam's New York Stadium.
The French ladies, they were absolutely rampant. They ran rings around the Italian women, and it was such a sorry sight to behold, because after the first 45 minutes it was out of sight already for the French side. And they always impress, the French ladies. They always impress. I remember them at the World Cup last time out. They hosted the World Cup. They played really well, but they got knocked out somewhere I think in the quarterfinals against the United States. They do well. They go into the tournament as favorites, but they haven't quite lived up to the level of expectation, the level of belief that their fans have on them. And this is one tournament they really want to look forward to winning, because they haven't won anything for all the promise they have shown. They've got really exciting players, Delphine Cascarino. They've got Wendy Renard, someone I chose to call the Virgil van Dijk of women's football. They've got Cardi Diani. They've got really exciting players, Amandine Henry. And this exciting crop of players have to deliver. They have to deliver. They just need to find a way to get a trophy in, because that's what you're remembered for. Nobody remembers you for playing fantastic champagne football. They remember you for winning trophies, and they've got to find a way to get their hands on this trophy, even though I think the English national team will have something to say about it.
Okay, let's look at a message in from Tosan. Tosan sends a message across to us this morning saying Djokovic has finally won something to make himself happy after all the issues he's had during the French Open. It's good Joe Aribo signed for Southampton. If he can keep the good momentum, he will be picked up by Tottenham, Arsenal, or maybe Chelsea. Sterling to Chelsea isn't a bad signing. He will keep Chelsea. He will help Chelsea after the likes of Havertz, Pulisic, and Co aren't pulling their weight at the club. Congratulations to the Super Falcons. That's just almost commenting on all the stories that we shared this morning. Want to react?
Yeah, of course. I stand by what I said. I think Sterling would be a really good addition to that Chelsea fold. I think he brings a lot of intensity, and clearly decisiveness in the final third. His finishing ability is really good. I think he will be a big signing for Chelsea in the coming season. She's also talked about the Super Falcons. Of course, hearty congratulations to the Super Falcons. I remember being here last week, and it was so disappointing that they lost against the Bayern of South Africa, but they've absolutely recovered in the right way, in a way we expected. We expected them to beat Botswana and beat Burundi, and they've done that in really convincing fashion, scoring 6 goals and conceding none, which is really good. And you only think that they can build some belief, go into the game against Cameroon and get the job done. I remember at the start of the tournament, the coach talked about, Randy Waldrum talked about the fact that the target is to get to the World Cup, qualify for the World Cup. And once you qualify for the World Cup, getting to the final, semi-final qualifies you to the World Cup. Once you do that, you can now think about whether winning the tournament. But the first target is to qualify for the World Cup.
Well, there's a report that I just got about Emmanuel Dennis being signed to Newcastle United.
That would be a huge one. That would be a huge one for him. Emmanuel Dennis, when he came to England, he was a real revelation. Was a bargain for Watford. Watford couldn't quite stay in the Premier League, and maybe due to the fact that he couldn't keep his form going. But I think he's a real talent. He's a really exciting player. And if Newcastle gets a signature, I'm not quite sure that is confirmed yet. But if Newcastle were to get him to sign the dotted lines, I think that would be a huge move for him, because Newcastle look like they're on the rise.
Thank you very much, Ini, for being a part of the show today. The show has come to an end. Thanks to everyone who sent a message to us on WhatsApp. Let's do this again on Wednesday at 8:15 a.m. How can we catch you on social media?
Monday_Iniobong on Twitter.
Monday_Iniobong on Twitter. We also are at Smooth981 FM on Twitter. My personal handle at Victor Pepple, VICTAPEPPLE. Thank you very much. At 9 o'clock today will be time for Lagos Talks. The biggest conversation today, you know it. Muslim ticket. Let's talk about it at 9.
Thanks, man.
Thank you very much. Thank you.